Two grown men, co-workers, football fans, zero expertise. Mike, George. Since there's nothing else on TV, sit back, relax, and see what happens when two guys who work at the cable company steal 30 minutes of local access time while no one is looking on a channel that nobody's watching. This is the Mike and George Experiment.
It's Friday night, 8 o'clock. This is the Mike and George Experiment. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hey, George.
Mike, welcome to the topsy-turvy world of professional football.
And college football.
And college football.
Right.
But there's still no universe that's correct yet. I'm still having a hard time picking.
Is the universe incorrect?
It is. I'm having a hard time picking teams correctly.
No, you're not having that hard of a time. You're doing better than I am.
Here we go.
You beat me by a whole game again this week.
Wow.
So you're now up by 2.
Wow.
You and Matt.
As is Matt. And Matt does it on purpose. I'm just doing it for fun.
You're just doing it to taunt me.
I am taunting you.
Are you implying he's doing it by accident?
Yep. If the shoe fits. Nope.
I'm going to give him some credit. I think
he's getting good at it.
It's frustrating.
It is. He's 2 games behind, and you can't, you can make those up in a half a week.
I deserve to be one behind you guys because I picked the Giants knowing full well that was going to be an upset.
The Gents.
But some of these other ones were perfectly reasonable. I mean, I took the Falcons over the Jets, the Raiders over the Chargers.
You took the Raiders over the Chargers?
I mean, the Chargers over the Raiders.
Yeah, that was very...
I took the Patriots over the Bengals and the Seahawks over the Colts.
And is everybody. I think everybody did that. And I
took the Dolphins over the Ravens, too. Now, I deserve
really?
to be horsewhipped for that. Every time I pick them, they lose.
Well, maybe you should try a different strategy. I think a dolphin would be eaten by a lion, so let's pick the Lions.
All right. Well, let's talk about some college football. How about that?
Yeah.
We said there were going to be some good games this week, and there were.
And there were. There certainly were.
Did you catch any college games?
I did. Actually, I watched the Ohio State game.
Wasn't that exciting?
It was exciting, and
that was the game of the weekend, I think. It was,
and I'm not even sure they deserved to win that. When they pulled it out at the last.
I was really pulling. I mean, you talk about the universe not being right. Had Northwestern won that game, the universe would have exploded. But they were really close.
Yeah.
The final was 40-30, Ohio State over Northwestern, but. With just seconds left, that score was 30-34.
And it wasn't even. Yeah.
And Northwestern was trying to march it down the field.
Right. Yeah.
And they did the hook and ladder thing on the last play.
I enjoyed that game. Yeah.
Somebody, I don't know if they kicked the ball or what, but the ball got loose, and then it wound up in the end zone, and then they Ohio State fell on top of it. So they went from 34-40.
That shows what a good game it was.
It was an exciting game.
Exciting
what a
and close.
Shootout.
And as I say, I just happened to have some time during
I'm glad
that time.
That's the one you caught. There were a couple good ones, really good ones.
What else do we have?
UCLA 34, Utah 27. Maryland got their butts handed to them 63-0 by FSU. Wow. I don't know if Maryland is that bad or FSU is that good or a little bit of both, but Maryland was undefeated going into that game.
Right.
And so was FSU. Georgia State lost to Alabama. Alabama had 45.
What was that final
Georgia
score
State,
anyway?
45-3 Alabama.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Clemson beat up Syracuse 49-14. Georgia Tech 30. The Miami Hurricanes 45. Hurricanes are undefeated. KSU, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's had some struggles this year, but they won 33-29. Georgia beat Tennessee. I felt bad for Tennessee and their fans because that was really close.
But it was close, yeah.
But it was what you would expect from a Southeast Conference matchup. And it was back and forth, and they had a lead change.
Well, that was so close that I think Georgia lost a spot.
Did they?
Yes. Yeah, I think Florida State jumped them, I believe.
Well, Florida State. Unloaded all their guns. Well, but Georgia won 34-31. TCU stayed in there with Oklahoma, but fell. Oklahoma won that 20-17. Florida beat Arkansas 30-10. Okay, LSU unloaded on Mississippi State 59-26.
Right.
And West Virginia, who looked good last week, had a good shootout.
Right.
It was like the early morning Saturday game.
Right.
They played Baylor and they got horsewhipped 73-42. And we talked about Ohio State Northwestern, but how about Washington and Stanford?
That
I'm
was a
interested
great
to see
game. I saw a
what
little bit of that.
Washington did because they looked really good and they stuck in it. They were in it till the end. But Stanford won 31-28.
We'll cover the polls when we get back.
Yeah. Come on back. Watch this, will you?
All right.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Mike and George Experiment. And we're going to go right into the college football polls, the AP.
Right.
And it looks like Alabama. Hey, tell me a little bit about Alabama real quick. How are you feeling about them this week?
Well,
You've been
they're
disgusted with them.
they're coming along. They're coming
Okay.
along. They're looking good.
Okay.
And they're playing Kentucky this week. So, Kentucky just, they're not like the caliber that their basketball team is. They're like the bottom of the SEC, but...
Well, Alabama is, of course, number one with 55 first-place votes. They didn't lose any this week to Oregon, who's number 2. Clemson, number 3. We've got Ohio State, number 4. Stanford, number 5. Florida State jumped Georgia. So Georgia is now in 7. Florida State in 6. Louisville, 8. Texas A&M, 9. And LSU rounds out the top 10.
All right, so everything's the same except 6 and 7?
Pretty much, 6 and 7, yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, Georgia was supposed to cream the other team, and they didn't.
Tennessee?
So I think when Florida State came in.
Okay.
And,
Well, we've got some pretty good-looking games coming up, too.
that's what I hear.
Here, I'll just roll through them
Why
real
don't you roll
quick.
through them?
Pitt is playing at Virginia Tech. Texas A&M at Mississippi. That should be
Should it?
interesting. Because
okay.
Mississippi has had, in the past, they haven't always had a really strong program, but
This year a little better?
they've displayed, signs of life.
Okay, good deal.
Missouri at Georgia.
Okay.
Florida at LSU.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
It's not a nighttime game, but it
Is that
should
kind of the
be.
game? Is that pretty much one of the games of the week there, though? What else you got
it could
that's
be
better?
one of them, but Oregon
Okay.
is going to play at Washington in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Washington Huskies.
That's probably
That's going to be a good game. Northwestern at Wisconsin. And here's what I don't understand. Wisconsin is heavily favored in this game. And here we just saw Northwestern looked fantastic.
Just that close, yeah.
They were so close to defeating Ohio State.
Right.
But they're more than a touchdown and a field goal underdog to Wisconsin, who, isn't
like
in the
that-
top 10.
It's like that Georgia game. Why in the heck were they favored? Because they won.
Those guys know something we don't.
That's right.
I don't know. Maybe there was an injury. South Carolina at Arkansas, Alabama at Kentucky. We talked about that.
Right.
Michigan at Penn State. That'll probably be one of the good games this weekend. A regional favorite here, Boise State at Utah State.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
I like Boise.
Oregon State at Washington State.
There's another good one.
Yeah.
So lots of stuff to watch. Matt, I know you'll be on the television watching college football this week, so keep up the good work.
No, he's spending all of his time studying these NFL games.
That's right, so he can pick the right games and whip our buttocks.
All right,
And we enjoy it, Matt. Thank you. What are we doing now?
What'd you think about let's go to the NFL. What'd you think about this past weekend? Did you watch your Chargers?
I watched
on
my
Sunday
Chargers.
night?
I am not a true fan because I didn't stay up all night to watch it.
I
But
did.
there's something.
I stayed up to
Did you
watch your
really?
team.
Lose.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Lose.
we have a football show, a show about football,
Really?
talk show.
Is that what this is?
I think we have some obligation to read the articles and listen to what's going on, watch the games maybe, not pick our nose on TV. So yeah, I stayed up.
Did you? That's great.
Of course I did.
Well,
of course.
I did too until I realized 17 zip. I was losing sleep. There's no excuse for a game being that late. That's it. There's something wrong with
there
people
was
that
an
schedule
excuse.
that crap.
The reason it was so late.
Baseball.
Yeah, well, the
Flacco.
Oakland Athletics made it to the MLB playoffs.
And we should be
And they needed 24 hours. I hate that field.
18. They needed 18 hours to get that field in position and change the seating and all that for NFL.
Right, well, I'm just
okay. You're just rounding up to the rounding.
That's what the guys on TV said.
No,
the other guys on TV, not us.
Right.
The guys.
Is there other guys on TV
the
besides
NFL
us?
Network
Come on,
that were
NFL
calling the game?
Come on, Marshall Faulk, all those guys. Who cares?
Yeah, Deion Sanders.
Watch the Mike and George show. Come on now. Come on, you'll get much more entertainment.
All right, so
I didn't think much of the Charger game. I thought that was a slam dunk for the Chargers. I didn't think much of the Patriots.
Terrell Pryor was back though.
Right, he was, and he looked good.
He's something
else. But the Chargers really don't have much of a defense, so we'll see when they play somebody better how he
do
does.
they have much of an offensive line?
Actually, I think they do.
If so, where the hell were they?
Well, they actually have kept Phillip Rivers upright for so far this year, so not many sacks. Okay, I just think topsy-turvy is my my term.
All right, well, there you go.
How about you? You haven't told me anything about how you felt, except that I know you lost again.
The Giants, I listed all the games I lost.
Okay.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. Well, listen to Matt. Listen to Matt.
Yeah, Matt and George.
Matt and George. The Matt and George show.
Yeah.
Matt and George experiment.
And if we have time, we'll talk to Mike.
That's George
be the title
solution.
of the show.
It's not an experiment anymore.
We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. George, we got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead into this week's upcoming games.
Okay, let's do it.
Thursday night, we've got the Giants.
Night, a big game.
Woohoo! The Giants,
are
heading to the Chicago
Windy
Bears.
City.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the Giants are going to not do it this week. I think Chicago's going to do it.
What is it going to take for the Giants to get something done? They're 0-5.
No.
I mean, I thought that maybe the Eagles coming into their house last week, that they would just had too much respect to let them come in and walk away with a victory with a backup quarterback.
Right.
But I mean, they've got problems.
No, and
all over the place.
Yeah, and they do, and they don't look good. As a matter of fact, the Sporting News made the Giants the worst team in the league, even worse than the Jaguars. So they're not firing on any cylinders. So I just think Chicago's going to come here and wipe the floor. I don't think there's anything they can do, and I'll discuss that a little later. Okay. But I don't think there's anything they can do to.
All right, I also took Chicago.
Okay.
The Raiders, who looked good last week, are traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, that are 5-0.
Yeah, and I don't see the Chiefs losing here. They look good against San Diego. San Diego doesn't have much of a defense, as I mentioned. I just think Kansas City is going to be 6-0. How about you?
Okay, I agree. I took Kansas City.
All right.
I took Philadelphia over Tampa Bay.
That's a pick 'em, I guess. And I took Tampa Bay. Now that Josh Freeman's not there, let's see how this new kid does. And I'm going to go with Tampa Bay at home.
All right. Green Bay is traveling to Balmer.
They're going to Balmer. And I see Green Bay doing the discount double take on Balmer.
I also selected Packers to win that game. Lions are playing the Browns. Browns, who keep winning games, they trade away their number 1 draft pick and start winning.
Right. Right.
And the draft pick goes to the Colts, and the Colts start tearing it up. What's going on?
I think that, and Detroit, I'm not sure, but I think they're without Calvin Johnson, Megatron this week. I'm still going to go for Detroit. I think Cleveland needs. I'm just not sure about Cleveland yet.
I also took Detroit, so we're in agreement there.
Okay. How about Carolina?
When I'm unsure like that, I don't like to go with the visiting
team. But what do you do?
But I did in this case.
Okay, so then we've got another pick'em, in my opinion. That's Carolina going to Minnesota.
Okay, who'd you take?
Minnesota. I took Minnesota.
So did I, but it's not a pick'em. They're favored by 2.5 points.
2.5 points, but to me, that's not that much. So, but I'm going for Minnesota at home.
The Rams are traveling to Houston, play the Texans, who are another team that just seem to be doing so badly.
It's hard for me to pick Houston, but I'm going to pick them. But it's hard for me to pick them. But I think they are going to turn it around and St. Louis.
Here the Rams are showing signs of encouragement,
right? And
the Texans are showing signs of going down that vortex in the middle of the toilet. And I'm picking the Texans also. I
don't know why.
I just think that
inexplicably
the Giants aren't snapping out of it. Maybe the Texans will.
Maybe the Houston will. Maybe J.J. Watt will.
Let's not even talk about him because he seems to be doing everything right to me.
Right.
The problems are not coming from that part of the team, but
not the defense.
No,
it's the offense. It's Schaub. Okay, so Pittsburgh going to the Jets. I can't believe the Jets won last week.
All right, who are you taking?
I'm going for the Jets.
So am I. Pittsburgh's favored in that game.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Well, that would be
Is that your
amazing.
Upset?
No, I'm going for the Jets, man. That'd be my upset of the week because I think
I'm taking the Jets, but that's not my upset.
Okay. Cincinnati.
I'm taking the Bengals over Buffalo.
The Bills. I'm going for Cincinnati.
Okay,
so there we go. We're diverging. So there you go. You're going to lose another game.
We both took Cincinnati.
Did we? Okay, then we're good. Okay.
All right, one more. Tennessee is traveling to Seattle. I took Seattle.
And I took Seattle.
Right.
I think Tennessee is a mirage.
Okay.
There's no such state as Tennessee.
Oh, I've lived there.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, come on
if you
back.
can call that living. Sorry, folks.
Check out this commercial message from our sponsor. Welcome back. Okay, we got to hurry up because we got a lot to do. This is our final segment.
Okay, go.
Okay,
Jacksonville
at Denver.
Denver.
Taking the Broncos, so am I. Arizona at the 49ers. 49ers.
All right.
The Saints.
New Orleans.
Going to New England.
I'm going the Saints.
So am I. That's my upset of the week.
Really?
Because the Patriots
Are you kidding me?
are favored.
Oh, no. Washington at Dallas. There's a good one. Who are you going for? Because I'm going for...
Well, I'm going for the Redskins, but I'm picking the Cowboys.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to pick those that I think are actually going to win.
Okay, Dallas.
Monday night, Indianapolis is taking on your Chargers.
And I'm going to go with Indianapolis.
Andrew Luck.
I've mentioned him several times.
What kind of hat is that you got on your head there?
This is a Charger hat, folks.
Yeah.
See that lightning bolt? Well,
all right.
Well,
all right.
Okay, and 56 points.
I am taking the Colts as well.
Okay. All right. You're a smart man, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, okay. That's how it is.
Let's go right to Ava's picks.
Let's do it.
Ava's picking Alabama over Kentucky. Good one. Virginia Tech over Pitt. UCLA over Utah. Denver over Jacksonville. Texans over Rams. And Steelers over Jets. That's her upset of the week.
She almost, she got, I think, all but one game right last week.
She's still doing good.
And
last year, this year,
she got wrong. She picked Northwestern.
Maybe we should be picking off of Ava.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, next up, we've got George's two-hole shootout.
Right on. Okay. All right. The Giants. We talked about them earlier. The Giants must realize that this year is lost and rebuild.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they need to rebuild, but it's not lost yet. Yes, they're 0-5.
Yes.
But more importantly, they're in the NFC East.
Okay.
Where the two teams tied for first place don't even have half. I mean, they're both 2 and 3.
I think you're giving a lot of credit. NFC
and the Redskins are 1 and 4? 1 and 3.
Right.
1 and 3.
So they're in the right division. They're in the right division. They could take that division. Yes. Okay.
God, let's hope that. That would be terrible, wouldn't it?
I'm depressed already.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a good question. In spite of his 506 yards against Denver, Tony Romo is still a choker. Romo, you're a choker.
Okay.
No,
look,
he's not. He is not.
I love to make fun of Tony Romo.
Oh, don't we all?
I love to hate
all?
Tony Romo because I'm a Redskin fan.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they're in the same division.
Right.
Okay.
They're our arch rivals, and we play them this weekend. We've already talked about our picks.
That's going to be a great game.
But Tony Romo is a choker. But let me tell you something. When you throw for 505 or 506 yards, you know, your team needs to take some responsibility too.
Like?
Yes, he threw an interception at the end that, you know, stopped their drive. But you know what? There's a special teams. There's a defense. There are receivers that aren't catching the ball. There are running backs that aren't getting the yardage that they need to be getting. Yeah. There's a whole team there. He is not the guy to blame for everything that's going wrong.
How could you possibly, at 506 yards, blame him for anything? I feel sorry for him this week.
We're going to cut it short.
That's all they're doing.
We're cutting it short right there.
Can I do one more?
No. All right, go ahead.
Okay. You can't spell Denver or Dallas without a D. But there was no D in either of them last Sunday.
Oh, I don't know.
True.
There were interceptions. There was Peyton Manning threw his first interception.
Yeah.
Somebody on the defense had to catch that ball.
Yeah.
And there were turnovers on the other way too. So there's defense out there.
550
yes,
yards.
It was a high-scoring game.
Yes.
All right, email. If you want to send us an email, send it to themikeandgeorgeexperiment@gmail.com.
We'll be changing that shortly. Or longly, I'm not sure.
Chris writes, and Chris is from Southern California.
Right.
George, how are you feeling about your Chargers' pitiful loss to the Raiders? So, all right.
I'm feeling great.
I think he's not.
Yeah,
not
he's
thrilled
just
too.
being. Okay, Cherry writes, agree or disagree. NFC East, NFC least. There are no defenses in this division. NFC East has hit such hard times that a losing record conceivably will win the division. And I have to agree with that.
It sure looks like we're headed that way.
And I got one more. Paul writes, I think you should share your picks for the 2 Petrino games, college. He's a tough homeboy's doing good. And I grew up with Bobby, and no matter what you say, he's a great coach.
He is a great coach. Yeah, actually, Paul Petrino, he's coaching the University of Idaho Vandals.
The Vandals.
Best mascot name. They're 1-5. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, they're 4-2.
Hilltoppers? I thought you called them something else.
The sister. No.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Have a great football week. Thanks to our sponsors. George, have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. The Texans might get back up. What do you think about TJ Yates getting a chance in Texas? Matt Schaub. Now listen, he picked 6 in 4 consecutive games.
He holds the NFL record.
Carson Palmer and him are, I think he's taking the crown. Carson Palmer.
He's taking the crown from Brett Favre.
Yeah,
He's taking